the back here, Damon.
Hey, Damon. Derrick White made a bunch of big defensive plays. Obviously, the block on John Wall, throwing it off him, and then the late game block at the end of the fourth quarter there. What have you seen from Derrick White as, his growth in terms of him being a defender, and what do you expect from him on a night-to-night basis on that end?
Well, I think that Derrick is finding his way. He got traded halfway through the season last year, and it's hard to me, it's hard. I've been traded, in February, and that's hard. It's hard to go to a new team, and I think that he's just more comfortable. And just like any player, I think he fights being consistent. But on a team like ours where there's so much depth, it makes it hard. But I think tonight you've seen his all-around game. I thought he hit big shots as well as played great D. That was a hell of a block. And for me, he's really a selfless player, and I think that's why the guys like being around him, and he's a joy to coach.
Coach, you were able to fend off, the Celtics were able to fend off the Clippers throughout that fourth quarter. Even though the Clippers did pull ahead a couple times throughout there, what did you see in particular that you think was the main reason why the Celtics were able to, your team was able to keep themselves ahead of the Clippers, even though at the end it did get a little interesting?
Well, with the exception of a couple turnovers, and I thought we did a good job of keeping our composure. The Clippers hit a lot of shots. George and Leonard really played on a high level tonight, and they put a lot of pressure on our defense. But we just held our composure. I thought each guy, Marcus, D. White, JT, JB, obviously, did a great job, of keeping us composed and, hitting needed shots, So that was the biggest thing. The third quarter we started with no energy, but after that, I felt like we came and we did the necessary things to just keep the game, within arm's length, and then we were able to pull away in the fourth.
Pre-game, you talked about the significance of what happened out in L.A. and wanting to, obviously come back from that. Did you get the response that you wanted tonight?
Yeah, our guys played exactly how I thought they would. Win or lose, I knew they were going to play hard and compete. That was the biggest thing. I know none of us enjoy, what happened in L.A., and we're all very prideful. So I knew that they were going to come back and have an edge to them. And, the Clippers challenged us. They're a very good team. They're a very good team. They got a lot of winners on that team. They got championship. They got a championship coach. They got championship players. So, we had to dig down a little bit to get this win, but I was proud of the way we competed. For me, it's just all about competing. Everything else, as a coach, you can live with.
What did you like? Obviously Jason and Jaylen carried you guys in big moments all year. What did you like in particular about other guys really stepping in at the end there, from Grant, Marcus, Derrick, during those last 5-6 minutes?
Well, Grant, even looking, with this 10 rebounds, a lot of things that he did tonight, would go unnoticed, but I thought he did a good job defensively. Leonard hit some really tough shots on G, but he played well. To me, he played well. D. White, like I said earlier, just proud of him, because I know as a player, especially as a guard, to find a rhythm in the game at times is hard when we have so many good perimeters. But for him to come out tonight and step up to the challenge and rise to the occasion of the game, I was happy for him. And Marcus, for me, he's been solid, from day one. I'm happy for him, proud of him. Just in the short time we've been together, I've seen a lot of growth. And, those guys, aside from JT and JB, those guys really help us win games.
What can it do? And I think that's where they help really close it out, to show, hey, maybe JB's in foul trouble, maybe Jason's getting doubled, but there's other ways that we can close these things out.
Well, yeah, and I said this earlier when I said that the Clippers was a 90s team. I really meant that. In the 90s, you never let your best players beat you, and that's how they play. In the game, they're double teaming JT, and trying to make somebody else make a play, because for them they can live with that. And tonight, our guys, they made plays.
Damon, the quick timeout in the third quarter, what prompted that?
guys, go sit over there and let's just relax for a second. You know, we came out a little flat. You know, I thought we came out flat against Houston in the third quarter as well. They just didn't have the same firepower, you know, but these guys have firepower. And, you know, I didn't think the game was getting away from us, but I just felt like we just needed to regroup. And I didn't even say too much. You know, it's just sometimes you got to just call timeout just to call timeout, and then you got to just settle everybody down and, you know, just kind of get the game and the momentum back, and that's really all that was.
And what does it say, the last 3 games to beat Milwaukee? I mean, 2 teams that are with championship aspirations, and the Clippers, you know, in this homestand, and kind of flip it after the losing streak and kind of just finish this strong. What does that say about this team to beat those 2 teams?
Well, I think we just regrouped. You know, I think losing back-to-back, you know, or those 3 games in a row, I should say, it was more than back-to-back. I think it was more so humbling, and I think that we knew we had to have better performances in the next 3 games, you know, especially with us going on the road. So the guys responded. You know, I know that they felt good about Christmas. You know, you bounce back against Houston, but tonight we really knew that we would have our hands full. And for me, you know, I really respect, you know, the job that the Clippers coaching staff does, and I have a lot of respect for those players, and I think that they're a really good team. And, you know, I think that we were able to rise to the occasion, and this was, you know, although regular season, it was a good win. It was a good test for us because they kind of challenge you mentally, and I thought we stayed strong this evening, and we really rose to the occasion, you know, both mentally and physically.
Damon, what has Jaylen done? What has Jaylen done individually to kind of fit into the team success, but also find this individual success that he's had over the last month or 2?
Well, and you know, for me, in watching JB play, I mean, he's a bully to me. Like when I say a bully, I say it from the standpoint of a good way. I feel like, you know, he's the type of guy that every team needs. I really do. I believe that. I think, you know, the way he plays, I think it balances JT. I think that he's the total opposite of JT, and I think that's why it works together. You know, for me, when I got here, all I heard was, you know, they couldn't play together. I just watched TV. I never knew the narrative, what was around it, you know, but I haven't seen anything like that. I think that JB is at a point right now in his career where I think it's about trying to get better as a player. I don't think he has anything to prove anymore, and I think his teammates believe in him, coaching staff believes in him, and the organization believes in him. So I can see him getting better because as crazy as he is, I think he's a great player, but I think he can get better.
You've said you've heard kind of the narrative coming in. What kind of surprised you once you did get to know both of them or even just see them both play together?
How humble they were, both of them. You know, I've been around this league a long time. I never seen a star like JT. You know, he's kind of a throwback. He practices, he plays. You know, JB's the same way. You know, so for me, being in college and recruiting a lot of these guys, I know a lot of these guys from when I was recruiting Memphis, Arizona, and I'm telling you, I tell our staff this all the time. I said, you should appreciate, for those, I've been in a lot of organizations, you should appreciate them because it's not like that everywhere, and people will tell you that. So I appreciate them because they make it easier for you to coach them. They allow you to coach them, and they allow you to help them get better.
Tonight was Rob and Al's first time playing together this season, and in the second quarter, they helped hold the Clippers to 36% shooting from the field. What'd you make of their minutes together?
You know what? I thought they were good. You know, I think the thing about it is when you play 2 bigs, I think it makes you feel funny a little bit. You know, especially when, with the Clippers, I think they have Batum at the 5. At one point. So, it makes you feel funny, but I think that Rob makes up for a lot of stuff at the rim, and I think Al is great at keeping his man in front of him and standing between his man and the basket. So I was happy, and we want to see what that looked like, regardless. We want to see what that looked like moving forward, and I would think that you'll see a little more of that.
final two questions, John and Jared.
Back to Jaylen, he's been getting a lot more points off cuts lately. Is that something that the coaching staff has emphasized off him? Is that something that's been kind of showing up, presenting itself? And obviously Marcus is the guy that's been finding those two connected on stuff like that.
Well, I think when you know how to score, you got to score in a variety of ways, and I think that's something that we've stressed upon JB, and I think that he's done a great job of moving without the ball, and I think he needs to continue to do those things as well as getting to the free throw line a little more, so you don't rely, and you know how to get yourself going in other ways, when the jump shot's not falling early, you got to find a rhythm in the game. To me, I've always thought that to find a rhythm in the game, if you're not making jump shots, is to go to the rim and get some fouls. Now you go to the free throw line and you find a rhythm, and then the rim starts to get a little bit bigger. And, I've seen that growth in this game.
That second unit, especially early fourth quarters, had trouble kind of playing with pace and getting stops so they can get out and run. How has Rob's addition allowed them to finally play in transition?
Well, I think that having Rob out there, we're getting defensive rebounds. We're getting out. He's coming affecting shots. So that helps a lot. And he's a rim threat.